Hey everybody, welcome to Elden Dogs, your favorite podcast about Shadu of the Erd Tree and Skibbity Skadu of the Erd Tree. This is, of course, another episode of Elden Dogs. I am Sir Ansbach, and I am on point today, I tell you that much.
I am Lady Freyja, and I'm almost on point. I'm getting there.
I tell you what, Lady Freyja, you look beautiful today.
Thank you.
It was my birthday yesterday, and we went to the Elak River and went tubing. Luckily, the man flies aren't too bad this year, but I don't feel like drinking today. Oh man, yes.
Well, I'm glad you had a good birthday. I also don't really feel like drinking today, but I'm going to. We had a very crazy work week over at the old bar.
If I was a living jar, I would just be Mexican Honey Light all the way down. Yep.
I'm 95% high life.
Yeah, it's actually impressive.
5% plastic, apparently.
They draw your blood, and they're like, is this champagne?
Is this 4.8%?
Oh, what do we got going on here? Yes. On point today. So focused. How is Shadow of the Erd Tree going for you?
It's going pretty good. I'm still just kind of going around and trying to find all the shit that I missed when I made a beeline straight from Esmir.
Okay, so what are some of the things? I know you haven't had a chance the past couple of days.
Yeah, no, I made it out of the abysmal, it's not the abysmal woods. Abyssal woods. I made it out of there.
That's a fun place. Tell you what.
You know, it's kind of like Gary, Indiana.
Okay.
Because I had to go through it once, and I can say I've been there, but I won't go back.
What are the enemies in Gary, Indiana? Meth heads?
Yeah, no, just Garyans, Indianian. And what is it?
A Garen. I call him a Garen?
A Garen?
Maybe.
That sounds like a man version of a Karen.
Either way, I wouldn't want to be a part of it.
No, but the only thing I know
The only thing you can do in Gary is you can parry him, though.
Yeah.
Yep, because otherwise they don't respond to regular attacks. They have so much bath salts in them that you can't do anything.
Yeah, it's all the bath salts and ketamine and bad drinking water.
Yeah.
No, but just like Gary, Indiana, it'll drive you mad.
It will. I love seeing a mad sheep, though.
Yeah.
When the sheep are mad, it's like, oh, are you wanting to destroy the planet?
I totally feel you, brother.
Little cutie.
Come over here so I can pet you.
Come over
with my
here.
sword. But that was cool. I did not like not having torrent, but I thought it was cool that the game forced me to be on foot. And
yeah,
it's cool that torrent, it kind of gave torrent some agency a little bit, because you kind of just view him as a mount after a certain period of time.
As a tool.
Yeah. But he's got his own mindset, and there was something about those woods that he was like, nah, bro, I'm good.
The Flame of Frenzy can kill spirits, can burn away spirits.
So he was like, I'm definitely out.
He's definitely out. I mean, if you could go to a site of grace and there was a pet torrent, or even comb torrent's hair or something, and it doesn't, no aesthetic changes, it just shows you for a second interacting with torrent, that would do a lot for me.
Yeah. It's like Red Dead Redemption. I used to pet my horse all the time. I gotta get that bonding up.
If torrent's genitals responded to the weather,
yeah,
I wish. I wish. My God.
Yeah. So
sadly, the genital game is kind of lacking in Elden Ring. You don't see a ton.
No.
I always look.
Yeah.
Like when I'm fighting a troll and they're pretty much naked, I'm like, that's where your berries should be.
What do you got going on here?
And they're just emaciated. It's like, wow.
Yeah.
Things are not good. They do talk about pickled turtle meat, though. That's the only time where they explicitly talk about getting it on, where they say, before the shattering, this was used to, it's like Viagra.
It'll get you going.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It enhances the libido.
If erections last longer than 2 hours.
That's why I'm glad that my partner takes Hims.
Oh,
I don't know what
is this a
Hims
segue to a new ad or
Yeah.
something? Check out Hims.
I don't know why I'm being targeted. Maybe it's because of my age group on Instagram.
I got a great Instagram video the other day. It was like a squirrel skiing through a fire. It says, congratulations, you're not getting topless women ads on Instagram. You're getting the squirrel jumping through hoops. I'm like, I did it.
I did it.
Thank you. Congrats to me, yes. But I am Sir Ansbach, and today we're talking about the rest of the gravesite plane, and we're moving into the Belurat Tower settlement. So excited for today's episode. There was something that I kind of, it's like not a one-to-one, and it's not like an official thing, but there is, I think, a like an alliteration almost, like the way the Shadow of the Erdtree map and the base game map kind of interact with each other. Like you start at the southwestern part of the map on in the Land of Shadow, kind of like you do in Limgrave. And Belurat Tower Settlement definitely feels to me like a Stormvale. Mm-hmm. It's going to be the first one you go to. And, you know, Jagged Peak down there by the Dragons, Farm Azula.
Yeah.
I think there is a lot of kind of like rhyming, and I think there is probably a little bit of a reason for that. But I don't know. That's just something that I kind of noticed, and you kind of, you know, work your way up, although the end does go somewhere else. You'll see eventually in Enir Elim. It's something I was just, they kind of rhyme a lot of the different areas. Like George Lucas says about prequel movies. Yes.
I do like the map so far. I was not expecting it to be as windy in the southeastern part that I've discovered so far.
Very difficult.
It is like you have to do horse parkour to get to some places.
Not really.
Well,
sometimes there are ways around stuff though too.
Yeah, the map is interconnected in a way that is frustrating and brilliant.
Did you see a bunch of these yet?
Fingers?
Yeah.
No.
Oh.
Oh no.
Oh. Well, we're starting north of the three-path cross site of Grace. You can find an Ash of War. This is north of where we found Hornsent and yourself, the lovely Lady Freyja. There's an Ash of War for the Savage Lion's Claw, skill of the particularly brave, even among the Redmanes, which is what you are. Somersault forward, striking foes with armament. An additional strike may be performed with an additional input. Can be used on swords, axes, and hammers. Keep your eyes out for that. If you head east of there, there's the Rundown Traveler's Rest, which it's just kind of like when you're hiking through the woods and there's just a cabin there and it's been abandoned forever.
Yeah.
We don't know what was going on there. Some traveler stayed there.
Yeah. Someone might have got murdered. There's a story about it. You and your friends have beers in the woods.
There's a 3-part podcast.
Yeah. But this is where you get the hefty furnace pot, correct?
This is where you get the hefty furnace pot from the Greater Potentate's Cookbook 2.
Love me the hefty pots.
I get excited about cookbooks. I know a lot of people don't love the cookbooks, but
I fucking love cookbooks.
I have a Game of Thrones cookbook. We had a whole party one time. I don't know if I'd want to get an Elden Ring cookbook. We'll see.
No, but in the game, I like seeing what cool shit I can make next, because you never know when you're going to get something that's like, I'm always hoping for something that like just heals me.
I guess for people that don't like cookbooks, they're probably not doing a lot of crafting, and they're not lore diving, and there are points where I do get a little exhausted where it's like, all right, I've collected 50 items. I can't read 50 descriptions today.
Yeah.
But at some point, I do. I mean, my current Elden Ring journey, I'm going back through the base game, and I'm pretty much everything up to Leyndell, Altus, and, you know, Mount Gelmir, and I'm loving it. It's really fun to go back, and especially, I've been bringing the Tailu Golem Smith. He tanks hard.
Yeah.
I actually can summon him, and then I'll just like pull up my phone, and he'll be fighting a boss for like a good 5 minutes, and the boss is kicking his ass, but he doesn't fall over, and he just keeps shooting fists and falling on dudes. I was like, you're my guy. And then I go in and just do like the final flick and kill him because I did the work.
It's like when Hulk Hogan poked Kevin Nash in the chest at WCW.
I hate Hulk Hogan.
Me too.
He's done.
I don't like it.
I got rid of my Three Ninjas High Noon on Mega Mountain DVD.
Good.
Threw it away. Doesn't even have the original cast.
Yeah.
Well, they did recast Rocky anyways. Yes, you find a cookbook there. North of there, we find the abandoned Ailing Village. And this is a small village which has completely succumbed to the man-fly disease. There's a spirit out front that says, "Oh, how it hurts from very tip to toe. Help me, I must ask, am I a human still? Is that the reason I yet suffer so?"
You know, when they said cicadas were going to be bad this year, I don't think they expected this.
I was underestimating it.
We have a problem.
There is a problem. Man-flies. What are your thoughts on man-flies?
When I first encountered them in that village, I whooped their ass real easy.
Didn't even care.
Didn't even care. I had the Blasphemous Blade. I've now switched up to Milady and the giant katana. But at the time, I had the Blasphemous Blade. Didn't pay them, no, never mind. But then, when you meet them later in the game, and you're in a more confined space, kind of going down a gorge.
Yeah, that was on the way to the Abyssal Wood.
Yes. When they get numbers, they are a problem.
Yeah.
Because they do quite a bit of damage.
They're annoying.
Yeah. They're like gnats at a barbecue, just bugging the fuck out of me.
These creatures were originally humans who suffered from a metamorphosing illness, transforming them into human-insect hybrids. The disease ravaged their peaceful villages, killing most of the population. The few who survived were turned into manflies. The ailment talisman, which you find here, says, when the weak were infected with the dreaded fly sickness, they perished well before the metamorphosis could take hold. Oddly, those who cared for the infected and made certain they were given a proper burial were never afflicted themselves. So, when I read that, it makes me think maybe if they didn't get sick and took care of them, like, maybe they were involved.
Could be.
We don't know for sure. All I'm going to say is if somebody's... we don't know why they're plagued with this disease. And, you know, there's always that outer god thing, which everything is explained by outer gods. But I'd be curious to know specifically what happened to it. It sounds horrible.
A disease that turns you into a man-fly?
Yeah.
Dear God. Imagine if there was a disease in real life that would literally change you.
Jeff Goldblum.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I've still never seen that movie.
Me either, but I've seen the scene.
I watched Little Trouble in Big China for the first time the other day.
Really?
Fuck, it's good, man.
I know, it's so good.
Kurt Russell is the man.
Yeah, they wanted...
Aren't you going to kiss her? No. And he just walks out.
Whoa. They wanted to remake that movie with The Rock at one point, and I was like,
Dwayne
don't.
Johnson was pushing for it.
Yeah, I was like, don't you dare.
Don't.
Kurt Russell is the man.
Dwayne Johnson is not.
No, he's not.
He's a man. The flesh and blood of man-flies is used to cultivate fly mold, which can serve as pot innards. So it's like that extra filling you need to fill up the corners of a pot. You can use these fly molds. There is an empty building. Not empty. There's a building kind of by itself down below the village, and there's a man-fly in there that doesn't aggro. You can sneak up on it, and it just sits there crying with its head in its hands. I'm like, damn, this looks not good.
I think I just ran in and killed him. I don't think I took the time to see what he was about.
I didn't the first time. I don't play games. And it could have gotten me in trouble. I, fortunately, in my playthroughs, never attacked a Kindred of Rot that was in this DLC, because the Kindred of Rot, there are some out in the map which aren't aggressive, and helping them gives you cookbooks.
Okay.
And if you attack them, more attacks you.
Like they tell their friends.
Well, he just shows up immediately and he's pissed. Because he's one of them. Yeah, the ailment talisman you find here boosts your resistance by about 350 for a short time after a status effect is applied to you. So poison and scarlet rot resistance lasts for 120 seconds. Frostbite for 45 seconds. Hemorrhage, sleep, and madness resistance lasts for 30 seconds.
I used this to get out of the Abyssal Woods.
Yeah?
Yeah, because I just kept getting inflicted by madness, and it pissed me off.
That's great, though.
Yeah.
That's a really smart move.
Well, I've gotten a lot more savvy since my second playthrough, because I keep track of the talismans and the shit that I have. Mm-hmm. And the first time I played the game, I just are you ever going to change your build or do anything differently? Or are you just going to keep running into the wall? And I just kept running into the wall. But now I use the tools at my disposal.
You can hide, too. Cast invisibility on yourself. And then those old exalted ones that attack you can't see you.
Yeah.
They'll hear you and still chase the shit out of you, but you can get further and sometimes just get around them completely, which has helped me a lot.
I got through the first ones, and I was like, that sucked. I hope there's no more of them. Surely there won't be. And then it got really foggy, and then I was like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, there's some of those fuckers in Bloodborne, too, and I still get nightmares. Mm. They are the worst.
I dislike them.
I remember being terrified of basilisks the first time I played the base game. And now I'm like, what's up, cutie pie?
Yeah.
You don't scare me. Oh, little lizard. But those guys do scare me. You also get a hefty fly pot here if you want to start throwing fly pots at people. Now, around the corner, we find our first Ghostflame Dragon. These are zombified motherfuckers. They it's one of those things with this game where you actually don't get to see any of the models because you're dying, rolling, sprinting, crying, screaming.
Yep.
And you're never just like, wow, look at that wing.
You're never able to just take in the sights.
Not until Bonfire VN or Zuli the Witcher, someone makes a video and they said, did you notice the left nail on this foot? It has a symbol. I'm like, I didn't. I'm going to be honest. I did not notice it the first time or the 10th time. The Ghostflame Dragon, the land of Spirit Graves is home to all manners of dead, and even the corpses of fallen dragons found their way here. Several of them were endowed with such vivacity that even in death they could not fully die. Now these, they behave similar to other flying dragons, but these ones fly a lot less, and it's because their wings are very emaciated. They're decaying, and they look. I'll send a video to you, but you got to just see that they look like pure shit that shouldn't be walking around like a zombie dragon.
Like me most Sunday mornings.
You're here a little late, but
I'm here.
Yeah. Today we started later because of me. I had to come back from the Elac River. Long trip. We get what is known as the best weapon in all of Elden Ring.
I do like it quite a bit, but I did have to respec in order to like actually wield it properly.
Yeah, I respec, and then I changed the weapon affinity on it too.
Yeah, I went with ice.
Yeah, ice is fun.
Because everything's fucking fire-based. Like, a lot of the enemies are immune or they don't take a ton of damage to fire. Which, Blasphemous Blade was my shit, too. So it's really sad to have to put that old tried and true down for a little bit.
But Mesmer brought the heat, as they say.
So I'm going to make it like Shaquille O'Neal in there. It's going to be the Battle of the Icy Hot.
You will get your first somber ancient dragon smithing stone of the DLC here. So you're going to get quite a few of those, handful of those, which is great.
Because we got to try those new weapons.
Got to try those new weapons. And I always will take a weapon up to +9 or +24 if it's non-somber. I'll take every weapon up there when I try it. And then that last step, though.
Yeah, if I like it.
I have to be into it.
Yeah.
And you find the Great Katana. And this is of the new weapon type, Great Katanas. As big as great swords, granting far more damage than common katanas at the cost of attack movement speed. And the Great Katana weapon specifically is large katana, long heavy blade. Weapon unique to the warriors of the land of reeds. Designed for aggression, this armament requires the wielder to throw their entire body into swinging it. The slashing attacks of its honed edge incite blood loss. Almost every enemy is interrupted. Their attacks are always stopped with this. Unless you're fighting a big motherfucker. And that one big motherfucker is when I get scared. But otherwise, just like if you get the jump on somebody, it just takes 3 attacks with this weapon and most of them will go down.
Yeah, it has been a godsend.
I love it. I'm a big fan. Its default skill is the overhead stance, where you hold the blade held high in readiness, execute a normal attack from the stance to step forward and slash downwards, or a strong attack to deliver a series of downward slashes. But like I said, change the affinity, put a different Ash of War on there.
Yep.
If you are into intelligence, if you're into faith, if you're into this, there's an arcane one. With Shriek of Sorrow, it can be arcane, and it can just be for farming items, and it's a beast. Beast mode.
Yes, very good weapon.
We get to go to what would probably be like the scariest YouTube creepypasta video where it's like, oh, we're breaking into the Belurat jail. This place has been abandoned for a long time. I wonder what we'll find in here.
Oh, yeah,
and
100%.
It's 4 Chads going in there, 4 bros.
Yeah. This place is super, super creepy. It's like it's ripped out of like a creepypasta.
I love it.
Especially the first time you see the innards.
And this is really, our first little dungeon. That's, it's a new type of dungeon too. Now the base game, it has, your hero graves, your caverns. There's like kind of themes. Like there's this kind of dungeon or that kind of dungeon or that kind. And the jar dungeon is kind of a new themed one in Shadow of the Erdtree. And there's 3 of them. Have you seen all 3?
I've seen 2.
Okay. I was excited when I walked in here and saw jars hanging. I said, oh.
Well, this is one of the first spots you told me to go.
I wanted to make sure you got there before we did our first thoughts.
Yeah. It's very I wouldn't say it's scary, but it's very unsettling the first time you see the innards crawl out of the jar.
Yeah.
I was like, ooh, that's gross.
Well, my first time, I was just coming around a corner and I saw a jar tipped over, and that just big pink sludge just starts just like glooping out of it.
I don't.
And
like
then
this.
it stands up, and I said, "This is why I'm here. Put this into my veins." I immediately was thinking of you because in your past life you were Alexander.
Yep. I was ugly on the inside, but I was strong and proud on the outside.
I just watched a Zilly the Witch video minutes before you got here, and it was they were talking about the differences with the living jars in the base game versus the DLC, and they're different. The base game, it's like an honorable thing, and it looks like they're waiting for the people to die, and then they eat them.
Yeah.
They don't eat live people, and they're not like in the Land of Shadow. People are getting cut up and forced into jars.
Yeah, because they're trying to make something, aren't they?
It's a way to be reborn into sainthood, is what they say in English. In Japanese, it's more like you acquire a good nature, or like it betters you somehow. It's kind of like a bastardization of the cycle of rebirth, which is Erd Tree, 101, die, go into the roots, come back. The cycle of life and death and rebirth is one thing. It's like a holy thing. And then there's the living jars where they're cutting people up and like, I'm going to just put all of these things into a jar and then dump glue into it.
Elmer's glue and make a shitty stew.
Yep. And no one wants it. But this is actually like why America becomes one of the reasons she becomes very upset with the Horn Scent people in general, and why the war happens with Mesmer. It's at the base of that because she's from a village of shaman, and the shaman are very sticky when it comes to gluing people together. They're like, their nature makes them really good for sticking things to them. And that's why Godric, a descendant of America, can graft very well.
Yeah.
That lineage is great for grafting, which is a weird thing, but yeah. And so something about the Horn Scent, they want to cut fuckers up and put them into jars, and it's their way of achieving a rebirth, I suppose. It's them trying to rise in their station. Some of their ideas are a little backwards.
Yeah. Cutting people up and putting them into jars is probably not where I would start.
And I heard one of them fucked a couch. I'm just saying. I know it was just one guy on the internet said that, but I'm sticking with it. It's weird.
It is weird, yes.
It's weird. Yes, the enemy is the jar innards. From a description, for pity's sake, your place is in the jar. Nigh sainthood itself awaits you within. For shamans like you, this is your lot. Life were you accorded for this alone, said a phantom in Bonnie Village.
I'm gonna start saying that to people when they're not doing what they should be at work.
What are you gonna say to them?
I'm just gonna be like, for pity's sake, your place is in the jar. And they're gonna be like, what? And I'll be like, just go get that guy a beer.
For pity's sake, dude.
Your place is in.
Your place is at the bar.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, apparently the Horn Scent of Bonnie Village said the only purpose for you to exist is to be in the jar. Just shut up and get in the jar.
Yeah.
And the item description of the Tooth Whip, they were created with the grafted flesh of Shaman, Queen Marika's kin. From these enemies, you can get the innard meat, which is scraps of flesh for filling great jars. It's rancorous spirits cling to the pinkish red meat. This is a tool, which you can throw at enemies to inflict damage, just throwing jar flesh at people.
Yep.
I don't love it.
Hurt.
I don't love it.
I'm gonna do it though.
I haven't done it. I'm not a tool guy. I need to start using more tools, more consumable tools.
I do use quite a bit of tools. Devin was kind of shocked to see my wheel.
Yeah.
After my flasks, it's like I use every spot.
He's starting to get it.
I'm rotating shit in.
He gets it.
He is.
I need to start just keeping some boluses on my wheel, too. I'm going to eventually need poison or scarlet rot.
Yeah.
Let's just keep them. I won't use the other ones generally, though.
I really only used the scarlet rot and the poison one.
Yeah.
But then I got Flame Cleanse Me, and I was like,
solid.
Don't need that no more.
I found out doing research the other day, there is a weapon, a sword, Karian something sword. You get it in the next episode. And it's L2 attack. It's like unique attack is whatever sorcery you have selected. So it's a sword that can cast sorceries.
That's awesome.
Yep. So you're like whatever your special attack is, it does a sorcery. And they just patched it to work finally. So it actually scales awesome with intelligence.
Damn.
I'm curious about it. I didn't know that there was any sword that was a catalyst. Yes. You also get a hefty freezing pot cookbook, and you get a cool helmet there, the Great Jar helmet.
Yep.
It's a big jar. Great jar which fits comfortably over the head when upturned. Attire of the shamans who perform their worship at jails. Increases the power of thrown pots of all sizes. Now, the other jar helmet doesn't work for hefty jars that you throw, hefty pots.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So you need this.
You know I wore a jar hat for a little bit.
You're a jar boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the jars.
We all do. They offered their prayers to the innards of the great jars, such that they might be reborn one day into sainthood. This is the cycle of death and rebirth, taken into the hands of mortal men. This increases the power of all thrown pots by 16%, which is a lot.
Yeah, that's...
If you're a pot thrower.
Yeah. For a pothead, this is like getting some really dank pot.
It's the good stuff.
The good stuff, yeah.
Yeah, but you're going to use them too quick.
Yeah, and then...
You have to go
feel like you're wearing
collect
a
more
headband.
materials.
Yeah, and then you got to lay down.
I collected $60 in the number of a sketchy dude. I'm going to craft weed. Inside of the Belurat jail, we find the demi-human swordmaster Onza. This is the first time we see the demi-human swordmaster enemy, and they're fun. I love these fuckers.
He jumps around.
They start off kind of like, they almost doing a little box stance, like, I ain't going to mess with you, dude. I'm just a little guy. And then they like jump up like Assassin's Creed or Batman or Spider-Man or something.
Psych, fuck you, I'm on the ceiling now.
I love this fucker.
Yeah. I also have a soft spot for the demi-humans. I like their character design.
You were at one point Bach.
I was Bach for a minute. I think they're misunderstood.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they look different. People hate that.
Yeah.
Yes. So, essentially, they're just a demi-human swordmaster. There's not a lot of lore about it. Anza was a master swordsman who devoted himself to the Starline sword, which we get later. Realizing that only ruin awaited at the end of the procession of stars, he imprisoned himself in order to forestall it. He knew he was flying too close to the sun and it would be bad, so he stopped. However, Yosh, his apprentice, who absorbs his technique, stubbornly refused to heed his master's word and spent his entire life at his side in defiance of his self-imposed seclusion. So his master said, that's it, I'm giving up, and you can't follow me. He's like, Samwise Gamgee'd him. So yeah, you're going to live by yourself with me.
You're not going anywhere.
You ain't going anywhere. And that's the Spirit Ash you get here. You get Yosh. And I use him for quite a bit my first playthrough. I like them.
I have not used them yet because I am so incredibly reliant on my Mimic tier.
Don't do it. Mix it up.
I did with the weapon. I can only move so fast. I'm scared of change.
I will say, though, the Mimic tier with a Great Katana is a sick thing to have.
Yeah, with the Blasphemous Blade, I was just running through dudes.
With the Great Katana, sometimes we get into attack staggering, like where I do one and they do one and I do one and they do one.
It's like when guys all hit, like you have different sledgehammers and they're hitting a big nail and they do it in a circle.
Yep. Bump, 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 bump. And, man... It's like Rolana becomes a regular enemy with that.
Yeah, you just cut them down.
We're going to go now to the main gate cross. This is where you head west through the tunnel from the three-path cross. Here at this cross is the message. I abandon here a part of the flesh of my body. Miquella's cutting parts of himself off again. Real cool. Everyone's really proud of him. Oh, you cut your foot off, dude.
At no point was anybody scared for him. Like, dude, don't cut that off. You need that. That's part of your body, dog.
I don't want to cut anything off my body. I cut here my hangovers. They no longer bother me.
See, that's growing as a person, and I would accept
That's
that.
growing.
But when he's like, "This is my foot,"
no,
leave it here. You're like, dude, you need that.
Yeah.
You're gonna keep walking for a
I
while.
abandoned here my sphincter.
Like, we didn't need to see that nor know that, and you probably need that.
That's weird, bro.
Yeah, of all things you could have picked,
Start somewhere else.
pinky finger maybe.
Yeah. I abandoned here my elbow. That would suck too, though.
Yeah, then it's like you might as well just give him the arm, Miquella.
I'm saving that for another cross.
Without the elbow, your arm is just hanging there.
I got 40 crosses. I got to do a bunch. Here, though, we meet the coolest NPC in the game. It's me. Sir Ansbach, you walk up and he goes, righteous Tarnished. And immediately, I'm like, yeah.
Cowabunga, dude.
Whoa. And I said, I like your beard. Nice to meet you. You got great tattoos, dude. He was the feared commander of the Pureblood Knights who once served Lord Moog. Ansbach understood that keeping his oath to his old master was not an act of logic, nor would it bear any justice, but it was for these very reasons he was unable to let it go. In an attempt to free Lord Moog of his enchantment, he challenged Miquella and cleaved him open with his blood flame blade. Making Empyreans bleed is no small task. This is when his heart was stolen. Ansbach made Miquella bleed.
That's impressive.
That's Batman and Superman right there.
Yeah, that is pretty... Yeah, that is like Batman and Superman.
Do you bleed? And then Miquella's like, I'm going to kiss your forehead. Damn it, he's so cute. I'm in. Damn. Yeah, I love this story. And he knows like his master's off the deep end enchanted, and he's still trying to save him, knowing that it won't work or won't help him. Ansbach is OG.
He is. He's very honorable.
If Gideon wasn't a douchebag, he could have been kind of Ansbach-y. And they both pursue knowledge.
Yeah, Gideon's a little slimy about it, though.
Yes, I will subjugate people, and yes, I might have killed a few Albanarics in my time.
It was all for the pursuit of knowledge.
They were peasants. Yes, an old fear lurks beneath Ansbach's mask, together with the cold, unflinching discipline that once honed his blade, now employed to enhance blood oath and dynastic skills. He requests you to discover more of Miquella's crosses to help him discern Miquella's true purpose. So despite being enchanted, he is still obsessed with knowing the truth of Miquella.
Yeah, and it's hilarious, too, because he's like, can you help me figure out what Miquella's doing? And I'm like, bruh, I don't even know what's going on right now.
It's like Who
are you?
A drunk person like, can you help me find my friends? Who are they?
First of all...
How'd you get here? I don't know.
Okay, that's a start.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay, let's go to the bartender.
All right, we got one fact.
For pity's sake, your place is at the bar, Ansbach, for pity's sake.
He's requesting a lot of me right away, especially since, like, A, no clue what's going on. B, kind of terrified I'm going to run into Miquella at any point because I'm directly following him, and that just seems scary.
Oh, let's follow Michael Myers' footsteps.
Yeah, no.
Although it's like cute little femboy Michael Myers.
So it's
and like he has a little like tinkle in his step instead of like a plodding footstep.
He like skips or he like power walks.
Yeah, he skips.
He skips for sure.
They skip now. They skip now.
Yep. It's just like the beginning of Rob Zombie's Halloween. It's just that kid instead of the grown up 7 foot tall. I think his name is Tyler Bane.
I tell you what, scariest thing in the world: giant dudes and little dudes.
Honestly,
the middle can be scary, but the giant dude or the little dude are extra scary.
I run into a dude who's like 5'9", 5'10", and he's trying like in a horror movie, he's trying to be scary. I'm like, you're like my height, you're normal.
Can be scary.
Can be.
Extra work to do.
Yeah, but 4'1" and short, tiny.
You know what I'm never scared of? The Jigsaw puppet, because it's not a killer. It's a little doll.
Yeah, and
Chucky, though, from Child's Play, as a kid that got me, but then I realized he was just a vessel for comedy.
Yeah. That's really maturing is when you grow up and realize Chucky's a comedy.
Yep.
Yeah.
The first one can be scary. When he's like doing the Uwe, Due, Dembella, give me the power I beg of you, summoning demons. And like,
yeah. Oh. He's also super ugly in the first one. They definitely improved his look as that series went on.
Or ruined his look as it went on.
I don't know.
I like ugly.
I like the later one. Like the Bride of Chucky.
It's too plastic, but I guess he is plastic.
Yeah. Hasbro.
We also run into Moore here. Moore is just rocking that verdigris armor. He is just sitting there with like a giant pot in front of him, and he's got like the cutest little dialogue. He's like, hello.
Yeah, I walked right by him. Or I walked right by Ansbach when I saw the dude with the jar. I'm like, my people. What's up, dog?
Hey, what's up, man?
How you doing?
He kind of talks like Garth from Wayne's World.
A little bit.
Yeah. I like to sell stuff and collect. He's got a little drum set in front of him. Hello there. Together we work. Together for Miquella the Kind. Many things we have found. I like finding things. For you, Lady Letta, her allies, and the Forager brood. Things bring joy to all. True. It's a little... I have a lot of things. I've been I guess things can bring joy.
You know, if you go back to Ansbach and talk to him and ask him about more, I think he says something to the effect of like, yeah, he's cool. Don't hurt him.
Everyone's like, no, he's fine.
He's fine. Just
don't hurt him.
Don't hurt him.
He ain't hurting nobody. He just collects stuff. Little bit of a hoarder. Yeah, he says, you welcome, you come often. You enjoy things. I like finding things. I like you. It's like, all right, you seem kind of simple-minded, but I'm with you, buddy.
Yeah, I got you.
He is a kindred of rot, similar to how there's a kindred of rot posing as Gowry in Caelid. This seems to be just a kindred of rot inside the Verdigris armor, one of the pest followers of Melania. He now supports Miquella's followers with useful items collected by his brood. His quest involves finding kindred of rot that are non-aggressive and helping them. Attacking any of them, like I mentioned earlier, causes an invasion from more. His armor, this is something I learned because I waste time on Reddit, is made of verdigris, said to be the gift of an outer god. Verdigris is a common name for any of a variety of somewhat poisonous copper salts of acetic acid, which range in color from green to a bluish green depending on their chemical composition. This is what happens to the Statue of Liberty, which was originally copper, but has rusted to look that like greenish blue.
Yeah, like aqua.
Yeah, it would be weird to see the Statue of Liberty back in the day.
The school down the street has the same thing going on, I think.
Man, plus if it's copper, if I turn that into a recycling place, I'd make so much money.
Oh, you'd make so much, yeah.
You and I are going to steal the Statue of Liberty.
We just need Nicolas Cage.
What's that over there? Got it.
Look over there for like a couple days.
We're going to need a while.
This is going to take a minute.
It has to be a big distraction.
Yeah. Nicolas Cage.
Man, I still think about Longlegs and how much I didn't like it.
I have yet to see it.
I've heard a lot of mixed reviews from people's opinions I like. Some people love it, some people hate it.
My buddy got really stoned and went and saw it. He's like, if you're going to go see it, just get really stoned first.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm not 16 anymore, but I mean, I might.
You can smuggle in a THC drink.
Yeah, I could do that.
I've never had one of those.
You know, I don't mind them, but they the last few ones I had hit harder than an edible, and I dislike that. Because I just want to chill, and it's like, you have some of them, and it hits you like a freight train. You're like, well, this is going to be a scary 35 minutes.
Well, it's like at SJDQ when Luigi just went to town on THC drinks and slept for a couple days. That seemed painful to me. Like, oh man, you're really stoned. We're gonna go to Belurat though. Belurat is the tower settlement. This is the main city for the Hornsent. This is kind of like the center of their civilization back in the day.
Yeah.
It's a town built around the spiral tower and the Gate of Divinity. The spiral tower, that spiral shape is channeling the crucible energy. They're trying to reach towards the gods. The Tower of Babel, the Gate of Divinity is where America did something and grabbed a fleshy something from a something and then maybe became a something.
Did you just avoid spoilers, or was that just...
We'll say that it's me avoiding spoilers, but it's
impressive.
also conjecture. What is she grabbing out of that?
Yeah.
And the answer is, you can watch a 10-hour lore video, or you can read one Reddit comment, and it's the same thing. Maybe. Maybe. Yeah. What was your thoughts going through Belurat the first time?
Well, I thought that the game didn't really get super hard for me until after here, but this was the first time where I was like, all right, I might actually encounter something that's going to like challenge me a little bit. Seeing as though my blasphemous blade build was just cooking dudes so well.
Just cooking them.
I was apprehensive, but then as I started moving through it, there was nothing there that really like tried me.
Yeah, there's a couple of enemies that are like a step up, but it's not that bad.
I think the game gets significantly harder after this point.
Yeah, and this is also like people, they expect this to be your first legacy dungeon. They expect this to be the first.
Yeah.
You know, this is your Stormveil. This is your Morgott. One of the first things we run into in the main gate is spider scorpions, which I guess might have scared me the first time, but this is just the enemy you kind of want to run into because they're not bad.
Yeah, no, you can handle these guys pretty good.
Originally,
They look scarier.
they're just big scorpions. Originally, this breed of scorpion was native to the realm of shadow and was significantly smaller in size. However, the recent emergence of these gigantic scorpions has been traced back to the Church of the Bud, which is, I used to worship there when I was a pothead a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, it's just blacklight posters all around.
Yeah. The occasional Insane Clown Posse album playing in the background.
You can crash on my futon if you'd like.
I got a beanbag chair over there.
I have frozen pizza and chips, which is not too far from my diet
That's
today.
not blood on my shirt. That's flaming hot Cheeto dust.
Oh, sorry about that. Yes.
Yes.
You can use the guest controller.
The Mad Cats.
It's a mad cat. You run into a horned warrior. The horned warriors are a little more difficult.
Yeah.
They are horn scent as well. There's like a caste structure of horn scent. The little shadowy bitch boys we run into right away, that's at the bottom. Horned warriors would be next. The horned warrior's helm, it's unique in that it increases your strength by 5, but it decreases healing from the flask of crimson tears. So anything with the horn scent, they are like resistant to the charms of the Erd tree. So your crimson tears do not work as well when you're wearing this helm. And the horned warrior's sword can drop as well. This ornamental tangled horns allow the blade to serve as a medium for the horn calling. And that's a unique skill. Horn calling with this weapon invokes tangled horns to cover the weapon's blade. They drive the weapon into the ground, calling up a cluster of piercing thorns underneath what you're focused on. Does holy damage. This has a good range too. It's pretty cool. You ran into it, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Horned warriors are going to be one of the tougher things you find here. We have our first invasion with Fire Knight Queeline. There is a Starburst or a Skittles commercial where that guy has like a really bad bowl cut.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking about? Dun, dun, dun.
Oh, berries and cream, berries and cream.
That's
I'm a little out of those berries and cream.
That's him.
Dude, it is.
That's Fire Knight Queeline.
Did you know that a lot of they made multiple ones of those, and there was a bunch of creepypastas written about it that people believed, like the blooper reel where like he accidentally like eats a kid or something.
Berries and cream actually ate a person.
Yep, exactly. People are terrified of that man.
Rightfully so.
He is creepy.
I've been watching a lot of this new YouTube video. It's kind of like just creepy, chill, scary stories or something like that. And it was like top 8 creepiest things found on doorbell cameras.
Oh, I love those videos.
Top creepiest sounds heard while camping. I'm like, sign me up. I can watch these all day. We didn't watch those before we went camping last night because Carly would have died. But
I've been watching a lot of Scary Interesting, and he does a lot of like caves.
I love caves.
Yeah, so I did like Nutty Putty Cave, and then some other kid, I got stuck like the same way. But like people getting stuck in caves because I'm claustrophobic.
Oh.
I would never spelunk. And I lay on the couch and I'm like, you idiot, would you even go in there?
I've done it.
You would or you have?
I have. I went caving in New Zealand with a buddy who was a tour guide, and he takes groups down, and he does it. There's like the safe parts, and then there's the other parts. He does the safe parts with groups, but it was just him and me going in by ourselves later, and we went like at 4 p.m. Doesn't matter because when you're underground, it's just dark regardless. But we were able to cover a lot of ground, and at one point he said, "I've never been down this way. You want to check it out?" And I said, "Sure." You're in a wetsuit, and we feel the cave on both sides of the chest and the back.
Yeah.
And you're squeezing through spots. And we just kept going. And eventually he's like, I don't know if it's getting bigger or smaller. I'm like, let's just go back. We don't need to go further. But it was awesome because also there's like a section where you can bring an inner tube through the main area. And then you just sit in your inner tube and you ride out, kind of like a lazy river.
Yeah.
But you slap the inner tube on the water before you start. And then all the glowworms wake up, so it's like you're looking at the night sky.
Oh, awesome.
Super sick. But also terrifying.
I've been in caves. I don't mind caves. I would do that. But it's when you're like, all right, now to get through this next turn, you have to exhale all the air in your body so that your rib cage can slide through this 1 foot long opening.
Now you have to crawl for 2 football fields to get one great look at the devil's sphincter.
Yeah. No one's ever been further than this, but I think there's a room up there. Like, no, thank you. If no one's never been further than this, do you think it's maybe because we shouldn't?
There's a reason that I love The Descent, and there's a reason I love As Above, So Below. Yeah. So it's good for creepy shit.
Love it.
Yes. So watch out for Horned Warriors, and watch out for berries and cream. But yes, Fire Knight Quillen, he invades you. He
drops a bunch of Skittles.
I'm gonna get you. Woo. He's just a forlorn Fire Knight. He's just a Fire Knight who's just kind of depressed. The first time you defeat him, he drops the Crusade insignia, which depicts a raised spear on a backdrop of flames in remembrance of the lives lost in the Sacred Crusade, but led by Mesmer. This raises attack power after defeating an enemy. So if you're out there killing a lot of small enemies, this is great. It raises attack power by 15% for 20 seconds after you defeat an enemy. And if you're running through a dungeon, you're defeating a lot of enemies.
Yeah.
That's a good talisman. Yeah, we're going to run into the Quillen again, and we can talk more about berries and cream. But right where you defeat him, you find the Shriek of Sorrow, Ash of War, which is the one I mentioned before about arcane scaling. Skill utilized by the downtrodden. You scream, causing nearby enemies to flinch, while also recalling deep-seated resentment, which boosts your attack power based on the amount of HP remaining. The lower your HP, the greater the effect. So if you have less than 85% HP and you use the Shriek of Sorrow, you get 1.1 times damage. These numbers are confusing me. You get more stronger.
You get better.
You get more
as
better.
You get weaker.
More better and even more stronger-ish.
You're going to get more better.
Bring yourself down to low HP with a weapon that has Seppuku or Bloody Slash, and then use Shriek of Sorrow before healing to prepare for a fight.
So what you're gonna want to do is you're going to want to get better by getting hurt. You're going to get good and hurt first, and then it's going to make you stronger.
Here, take this knife and stab yourself.
And then rub some dirt in it.
And then take a potion.
And then get out there.
Slap him on the butt.
And make sure you scream. You got to scream.
Wow.
You have to. It has to be resentful too.
Think about it for things you don't like.
My milk just went bad in my fridge.
Couch fucker. Also in the Belurat settlement, you'll find 2 keys: the well depths and the storeroom. Now, the storeroom key is where you find Grandma. Someone locked her in a storeroom. The NPC Hornsent Grandam. Did you find her in Belurat? I'm guessing you might not have.
Don't think so. This does not sound familiar.
She's Grandma. So naturally, she's upset, testy, doesn't want to talk to you. She looks a lot like the finger readers that want to just put your hands in their mouths in the base game. And I haven't seen like a lot of people make comparisons to them, but they're both just very wizened, tiny little old women with giant creepy fucking heads. Yes. She is a Hornsent survivor who has lost almost all of her people. She confuses you for a follower of Mesmer and is like, get fucked, you dickhead. Oh, you're gonna hit me? Hit me. Otherwise, get the fuck out of here.
With the confidence that only a grandma could do. Because, like, what are you going to do? Are you really going to hit the grandma? They know you're not going to hit them.
You can.
You could.
It affects the dialogue that starts before the Divine Beast dancing line if you attack her.
Really?
Yep. Because she's the one who summons the Divine Beast later on to arise to fight.
And then if you hit her and then you go fight the lion, the opening line is like, I bet you won't do that shit again.
He's like, dickhead. No, she, it just sounds like an old lady who got beat up instead of a strong old lady. It's different, but it just sounds like a beat up old lady instead. She says, listen, progeny of the wanton strumpet. She's casting a lot of shade at America.
Yeah, the wanton strumpet. Another thing I can call people at work.
Yeah, for pity's sake. You wanton strumpet. Now, wanton strumpet, that means this lady, she got around. She's saying America got around. And
got that kind of a hoe? Is she calling America a hoe?
Kind of like the lands between doorknob, you know? Everyone's had a turn.
Ooh.
Yes.
Like the village bicycle.
Yes. I'm trying to think of one that's more related to the lands between. I don't know if I got any, though.
It's like Liondel's mattress.
The Lands Between's flask of crimson tears. Everyone's had a drink. Yes. So apparently America did have some sort of an agreement with the Hornsent, is what this leads me to believe. And she betrayed him, or she never intended to work with them. If you turned my family into jars and said, hey, want to come work with us, I would maybe betray you.
Yeah, I 100% would be like, yeah, sure. And then I would plot your downfall from the moment I stepped in.
Now, there is some item description that originally referred to her as Empyrean Grandam, which could be translated to... Grandam means like grandmother in one of the various Old Englishes or something. But Empyrean is, of course, someone that could rise to godhood. America was Empyrean, Miquella, Empyrean, Rani. There have been Empyreans before, and people were freaking out about this. Like, does that mean America is related to her? Why is she an Empyrean? What's the family tree there? And then the recent patch took it out, is my understanding. I have to look into it more, but yeah, she essentially talks a bunch of shit to you. We go see her later, and then there's the Toxic Depths, which... And this, this like Stormveil reminds me of going down to see Godwin's goopy face at the bottom.
Yeah,
you're going out of your way out like to a different spot, but down here you find a lesser ulcerated tree spirit, which I just cheap shot it with a bow from very far away. I didn't have any patience.
Taker's Flame.
Yeah,
Taker's Flame worked pretty good.
That's all you do.
Yeah.
You get an immunizing horn charm +2 over there, which raises immunity by 180 for poison and rot. But we make our way to the top. Near the top of the settlement, we can find a bone bow, dead end to the left with scorpions in there. It's a crude short bow fashioned from sickly bone, a medium for spirit calling, and a product of the ancient hexing hearts of the tower. This unique skill, Rancor Shot, charges your arrows with vengeful spirits, and they will actually track enemies through the air, so they'll like turn towards enemies if they're running.
It's like James McAvoy in the popular film Wanted.
I don't know this one.
Curving bullets with Angelina Jolie.
Wow.
It's very easy to do. All you do is when you shoot, you just throw your arm.
That's all it is?
That's all it is.
Does Angelina Jolie have to be there?
Yeah, she actually has to stand in front of the gun so that he can do it for the first time, because she's like, you won't shoot me.
So it's the gravitational pull of Angelina Jolie sucking all of life into her.
Yes, it is. She does have a slight gravitational pull. If you watch interviews and stuff, like every now and again, like a cell phone or something will just move a little bit.
She's a little weird. We'll also find a secret room. You have to jump off of the main path here, and you find inside of this a bunch of man-flies. You find a talisman, the dried bouquet, a giant bouquet of dried flowers offered to a small grave. This raises attack power when a spirit you have summoned dies. The sorrow that flows from the untimely demise of a loved one is a tenderness shared by all regardless of birthplace. Raises attack power by 20% for 30 seconds when summoned spirit dies.
That is so emo. I love it.
No!
No.
I'm so mad. I'm going to get you, bro.
That's exactly right.
There's a trick to this, though. There's some spirit ashes, which are the living undead. Not the living undead. Living in death. And, they rise. They get killed once, and then if you don't hit them while they're down, they rise again. Every time they get knocked down, you get the boost. So if they rise back up and get knocked down again, you get the boost again.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's a trick.
It's a trick.
Because if you just summon your Mimic Tier and they die, you get it once. It's not as cool. But if you summon, something that's got like 5 demi-humans, you're likely to have it longer.
That's nice to know.
It's good to know. In here, you also find a Miquella's Cross, another one. I abandoned here my arm, Sinistral. And at some point, I'm sitting there. It's like, all right, can you fuckers just talk English?
Yeah.
Just say it's your left arm. Because it is. It's just his left arm. Sinistral and dextral are 2 types of chirality or directions. Just say, here's my left arm.
Yeah, I'm having enough trouble keeping up as is. I don't need Old English.
I don't need Old English. Unless it's got an extra E's at both ends and it comes in a big old jar.
Yes, OE.
A big bottle of OE, yes.
Duct tape to my hand. That makes sense.
You telling me I can get drunk for $4?
Well, that's what you find at one of the next Miquella crosses is just like 2 empty 40s. And it's like, Miquella, I was here.
I abandoned my 40 hands.
Yeah.
my 40 hand sinistral. Oh, he cut off his left 40 hand, dude. We are going to also run into a Curse Blade here. The Curse Blade are the jumpy, wiry...
Fuck these dudes.
These dudes. These entities wield the Curse Blade Cirque in both hands, a backhand blade with wave-like cutting edges, sharpened into points that incite blood loss.
These motherfuckers jump around like Rey Mysterio. Just like, I don't like them. They're frustrating to fight.
With the height of like a LeBron James.
Yeah, it's like, just hold still for 2 seconds so I can hit you.
Over here.
Come over here so I can stab you.
It's Oberyn Martell fighting the Mountain. Once you get a hold of them, you're fine.
Yeah, but it's getting a hold of them. That's the hard part.
They move so fast. Long ago, this was employed by the ascetics who strove to become tutelary deities as a ritualistic object in their self-flagellating dances.
So they're hurting themselves when they dance?
Well,
isn't flagellating with like what Paul Bettany did from the Da Vinci Code?
As everything, yes, refers back to the Da Vinci Code. Much like Tom Hanks in the Da Vinci Code, they are professional swimmers, actually studying symbolism.
That is true. He is a professional swimmer.
What you didn't know about Leonardo da Vinci, it's like, Tom Hanks, calm down. I love those books.
They are good.
Where you get the revered spirit ashes, they're actually in front of tutelary deities. So those are like curse blades who actually ascended. These ones failed. They didn't get to become the badass deities they were hoping. So, yeah, they just danced around hurting themselves. It's like going to a mosh pit.
Yeah, the bad kind of mosh pits.
Which I saw the bad kind of mosh pit last night, and then I saw a good kind of mosh pit. The bad one had a dude with his shirt off who looked like Jeff Daniels from Dumb and Dumber.
Was he throwing his fists and kicking real hard?
Yeah, and at one point it was kind of empty, and a dude just started doing like jumping somersaults back and forth.
Yeah, that's the bad kind.
And I was like, ooh, man, if the music was good, I might care, but even that's missing. The Cursed Blade mask you can get from them is a mask affixed with a crown of tangled horns, worn by those who would invoke divinity. They find the blessing of the Erd Tree nauseating, so you get increased dexterity by 5, but reduced flask value by 7%. Much like the Horned Warrior.
They really hate these flasks.
They hate the Erd Tree. Yes, and you can get the Cursed Blade Cirque to drop from them as well, which is a backhand blade. And blood loss of 45, if that's something you're into. But we're going to open the door. We're going to hit that site of grace, and we're going in to do the big fight.
O horn-decked beast from higher sphere delivered, take root inside the tower's sculpted keepers, and perched within, we beg of thee, rise. Dance and kavod, cleanse all that thou wilt. Cruelty, woe, and those who plague the tower. Cleanse away the strumpet's vile progeny.
That's Hornsent Grandum summoning essentially the Divine Beast Dancing Lion. What a fun boss.
Yes. Obviously one that was shown in the trailer, the gameplay trailer, so we knew it was coming. I was surprised a little bit to see it that quickly, but I knew I would see it earlier rather than later.
Yeah, it's such a striking boss. Maybe the coolest design. And its gameplay lives up to its design too, whereas something like the Furnace Golems just look cool. They're actually fighting them is horseshit.
Yeah.
When you watch Zuli the Witch's video on this, and she removes all of the outside stuff and just shows the two dudes underneath. So cool.
That's pretty wild. It's actually two dudes.
It is actually two dudes all modeled underneath. They like didn't skip anything where they knew something would be covered up so you can get away with not showing as much. It's like when you're animating, like in Lord of the Rings, when they animated the horses, they are like a troll. When they wanted to do the cave troll, they wanted to think about how all the muscles would work together so they could make it digitally looks like it's making sense or moving in a way. And the skin is bending right. It's so cool to actually see the video of just the two dudes. These two are the height of the cast of horn scent culture. If you are a sculpted keeper, which just means you're the naked dude in the costume,
you're a big deal.
That's the coolest thing you can be.
It goes like in horn scent culture fame, it starts with them. They're at the top. And then it's Taylor Swift and then Dave Matthews Band.
This is Taylor Swift and Chapel Rowan.
Oh, I was going to say her. Did you see her Lollapalooza set?
I've been thinking about her music a lot the past couple days.
Dude, I did not know who she was 2 weeks ago. And
her music's
digging it.
Catchy.
It is catchy.
I tried to prove Carly that it wasn't like, I'm like, it's just another song. And then all of a sudden I was just singing Hot to Go in my head all day.
Yeah.
It's good pop music. And she's a cool person.
Yeah.
Yeah. So T Swift and Chapel Rowan inside of this Divine Beast costume. Now, what happens is the Divine Beasts were real a while ago. They were killed by Mesmer.
Global warming.
Global warming, in a way.
Yeah, in a way.
Kind of. They dance to emulate the movements and the spirit of the lion, and they do it so effectively that they actually do, they're able to channel the spirit's powers and like the attacks and the spells. It's so cool. The way that there's actually a dude up front like clamping the mouth open and closed.
Yeah.
Everything about the way this thing moves pleases me.
Yeah, it is aesthetically one of the coolest bosses, I think, across the entire game.
I would agree. Divine beasts are messengers of the heavens, and their rage mirrors the tumult of the skies, of which storms are the pinnacle. When the Impaler's army assailed the tower, the ritual of the lion dance was turned towards martial ends, its divinity, its fury, its light-footed beauty. The majority of divine beasts were gored and hung upon Mesmer's spears, then burned in his flame. Those who witnessed the deed likened it to a funeral pyre for the tower itself. Sculpted keepers of the top of the class system. And we already had the dialogue play. You can summon you here, Redmane Freyja.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did not know that until right now.
If there was one thing I wish this game did better, it was telegraph NPC interactions. Now, I'm fine missing some here or there if I have a chance to do it again. Summons, though, I was trying to find Millicent in the Windmill Village, and I know she's there. I'm looking for it, and I can't find her. How are people who are not looking for it supposed to find her?
Well, those are the ones that find her.
It's stupid.
Because they'll just be walking and be like, ooh, what's that?
Oh, man. The number of times I didn't know there was a summon in an arena or outside of an arena before too late, it seems like an oversight. Take the same summon sign, the little red writing on the ground, just make it 4 feet tall. Have the dude, like, have an image of the person standing there.
Yeah. Easy enough.
There it is.
I usually try to do the fight the first time without the summons, and then I gauge how hard it's going to be, and then I see if I need some help. But I did not know that this one was here. I thought about it, too, because this boss, was it this boss? I think I died like once or twice.
I think I beat Divine Beast Dancing Lion my first playthrough.
I might have died once or twice, because I think it was this boss. Was this one of the bosses that would, like, when you walked back in, it would just be charging the mist?
I'm not sure. I don't know. I didn't die twice.
They kind of patched that out. I can't remember if it was this one.
Gaius was really bad with that.
Oh, no, it's the hippo.
Yeah.
The hippo is what fucked me up.
Yeah. The summon the NPC thing, it's not a big deal for 95% of the time, but then there's one NPC interaction later on with Mesmer. If you don't summon them for the fight, it changes their quest.
Yeah, and
because they want vengeance. And if you do it without them, they get upset.
Well, and also like having someone to accompany you in battle, like it does build lore. It's like part of that character's motivations, and it's interesting to see that there's actually one that gets upset that if you fight Mesmer.
Yeah.
And that's good to know because that's currently what I'm trying to do.
Yeah. And that's an NPC interaction where you actually summon them inside the arena. So you go in, find Horn Scent Summon Sign, and then summon them there. And when, for the love of God, when you fight Baal, summon Egon.
I will.
For the love of God, summon Egon. You'll enjoy every second of it. Yes. The Divine Beast Dancing Lion has 4 different phases. Phase 1, regular attacks. Phase 2, it's 70% health. Elemental attacks of ice, wind, and lightning. Never fire. They don't like fire.
No.
No one likes fire in this area anymore. At 55%, they add frostbite and lightning effects to its attacks. At 25%, even more effects. Defeating the Divine Beast Dancing Lion gives you the talisman Enraged Divine Beasts. What's Enraged Divine Beast? That's one of the options. This raises potency of storms by 10%. That's a weird.
I read that and I was like, when the fuck am I using a storm?
Affects all spells, skills, and items with the word storm in their names.
And now I know that.
I didn't know that. I'm like, what does that mean? Storms? When I use lightning?
It's like the roar attacks. That one that you get that enhances all your roar attacks. I was like, the fuck is a roar?
How many? What qualifies as a roar?
I've never once roared.
Dragon roars.
That's what I found out.
Yeah. The other thing you can get is the Ash of War Divine Beast Frost Stomp. It is a skill which imitates the wrath of the Divine Beast dance. Lift a leg up high and stamp it down with great force, which is kind of like a sumo wrestling move.
Yep. Otherwise, it's a variation of dropping it like it's hot.
Yes.
Yeah.
Vin Diesel actually uses this in one of the Fast and the Furious films to collapse a parking structure.
What a madman.
Yeah, he did the Divine Beast Frost Stomp. I knew he could have beaten the Lion, though.
Not The Rock, though.
Fuck The Rock. Sends a powerful wave of frost straight out along the ground, can be charged to increase power and range. This is usable on all melee armaments. Deals about 135 frost buildup when charged and about 65 uncharged. So it's a lot.
That's a lot of damage.
It is. It's a direct upgrade to Hoarfrost Stomp, much higher damage. You also get the armor, the Divine Beast Head, which, worn by the very finest sculpted keepers, at once responded to the Grandam's earnest prayer, increases strength and dexterity by 4 points each, and reduces the effect of flasks by 11, like everything else.
I want to wear this so bad.
Then do it.
I like it.
Then do it.
I haven't yet, but I will.
What you do is you wear it and you go see Grandma.
And then, she's probably either psyched or terrified.
Well, Grandma thought you were a Tarnished working for Mesmer, but if you wear this in there, she's like, she thinks a sculpted keeper came to visit her.
She's like, oh, that's my boy.
Yes. It's like if Grandma was a Nazi and you put on a Nazi uniform.
Yeah, she'd be like, oh, that's awesome.
It's like, Zeke Heil. It's good to see you.
Hallo, guten Abend.
I don't know about that. But you wear this beast head to her back in the storeroom, and she's so pumped. She believes you are going to go fight Mesmer. She believes you're the new savior, the chosen one. And she asks you to take her son with you to war, and she gives you an incantation called Watchful Spirit. It's an entreaty received from the Empyrean Grandam, which is what I believe got patched out. I should have checked before this, but summons a guardian spirit above the caster's head. The spirit never strays far from the caster, conjuring several apparitions before dissipating. This is famously one of the most shit upon new incantations in the DLC. People hate it. It's not effective.
It doesn't sound like it is.
I don't know if the patch changed any of this, because the patch did fix a few things, but if you reload the area and come back in, you get a scorpion stew.
So Grandma cooks for you?
She cooks for you.
Dude, she is a grandma.
She is, yeah. Oh, here. I just ate.
No, please. No, have some more. You're so skinny.
You are so handsome. Some lady's going to be so happy. Yeah. Grandma, I'm 50 and gay.
Just have more stew.
Shut up. Yes, this boosts physical damage negation temporarily and gradually restores HP.
Can you craft this, or can I just come keep grabbing stew?
You can't craft it, I don't think. I could be wrong.
Because if I could craft that, I'd like the 12 HP per second.
Regenerates 12 HP per second and physical damage negation of 10%.
You don't think Grandma's going to give up the recipe?
It's like Bush's baked beans, dude. She ain't telling no one.
Oh.
Once made with love by a certain elderly woman for the family table, having long gone cold, the soup gives off a rank, sour smell. So it's like a gazpacho now.
Yeah, something, or yeah.
It's a cold stew.
Yeah, it's good, though.
Yeah. What you can do is give this to Hornscent, and Hornscent's like, whoa, this is the good shit. Thanks, man. I don't want to owe you. I don't owe you shit, but thank you. He really doesn't want to owe a favor, but it's like if somebody brought me Raising Cane's, I would be very indebted to him.
Yeah, you'd be like, thank you so much. I don't owe you shit.
And I would die for you.
I didn't ask for this.
But I would die for you now.
Do you know I think one just opened.
I was there day one.
Where's it at?
Greenfield Mall.
See, I don't want to drive that far, though.
Raising Cane's is 20 minutes from your house. You can drive that far.
I'm going to get food after
The
this.
line, we waited in line for probably 40 minutes to get in. There was a line of cars that went like off a mile
No shit.
for the drive-thru. They had security. It was cool. After the Divine Beast, you ascend the stairs to Anir Elim, the Shadow Tower, and you're going to go to the end game, except the door's locked.
Yeah, when I got there, I was like, son of a bitch.
Also,
I'll be back here.
Also, it's like, I probably just shouldn't even be able to go up this high. You find a message from Leda. She says, the gate of divinity lies in the tower sealed by shadow. That is surely where kind Miquella is headed. We are no Empyreans, but we must locate the path that will lead us there. I will follow the crosses east. And that's the Belurat Tower settlement. That's the pinnacle of Hornscent culture.
Yep.
Good stuff.
It is, it's a nice little dungeon, legacy dungeon sort of thing. I like it quite a bit. It's got a cool lion at the end of it.
It's very straightforward. It's one of those things the first time you play through a spot, you're not sure, because it's all new, so you're not sure if you're missing turns or if this goes there, how much it interacts or loops around itself. Playing through it a second time, it is a fairly straightforward dungeon.
Yeah, and it is kind of nice to see what might be part of the end game. It was so early. It's like when a movie starts at the end, and then they flash back, and then you have to go through the beginning.
You might have wondered how I got in this situation.
Yeah, this is me 2 days ago.
Is it and it starts off with you eating stew with a grandma.
Yeah.
You might have wondered how I got here.
Well, let me back up first.
And yeah, I like it. This is a good, straightforward piece of Elden Ring. It's not pushing the lore out too far like the Abyssal Woods or the Jagged Peak or anything, but I like it.
It is a good start to the DLC.
Yeah.
Made me feel warm and fuzzy like I was playing Elden Ring for the first time again.
This is one of the most obvious pieces of the DLC too, where you're going to run into those first characters. And they say, go there. And then the next character's like, hey, you should go there. But also, don't forget other things too. Check out these crosses. And after this, the game really opens up.
Yep.
And that's kind of a little bit of a routing question for the podcast. Like, where do we want to take this next? And we're going to go through, there's a couple more spots in the Gravesite Plain, and then we're going to go into Castle Ensis to go talk with Rolana.
Yep. I think that was immediately where I went next.
Yeah. You follow the road, right? The road leads there. All roads lead there, and then you go up that, and that road leads you straight to Mesmer. And I'm the person that'll go everywhere around a road first.
I can't wait to talk about the storeroom in Mesmer. That area pissed me off.
The Shadow Keep.
I did not like the Shadow Keep.
I really don't like going through it again or the first time. It's stunning. It's striking. But that is a confusing piece of level design. I like the church district. But that's all we got for you today. We're going to thank our Patreon executive producers, Rykard Christianik, Malekith the Black Blade, Blaggard Big Brian Ward, Jordan Hoslow, Sorceress of Blood, Festering Fingerprint Phil Wright, Iron Fist Phil Just Phil, Bell Bearing Hunter Bryant Ross, Crucible Knight Kelly Gutowski, Justin Mellismer the Impaler, and new executive producer, Imagine Ghostflame Wagon. I like that one.
That sounds like an awesome band name.
Yeah. I met Imagine Dragons once.
It's like REO Speedwagon, but heavier.
Ghostflame Wagon.
I'd go see him.
Let's see it. And if you want, this episode has been available to Patreon members for a very long time. If you want access to the rest of the episodes, more episodes early in advance, access to our after show, access to a ton of popcorn dogs where we talk about fantastic films, check out patreon.com/hairofthedogcast. There's a free trial you can even do. We recommend it. We have a great Discord, great community. We'd love to see you. And make sure to check out the sponsor of the show, Magic Mind. Use code HDogcast20 at magicmind.com/HDogcast to get that discount. We recommend giving that a try.
Do it.
We'll see you next time, Tarnished.
For pity's sake, your place is in the jar.
For pity's sake, get in the fucking jar. You do good for your jar?
Clean up your jar
Your
and stay in it.
jar is filthy.
Yeah.
Go to your jar.
Put some Simply Green on that.